Hey everybody, Dana Stover here with the Magic of Somatic Money, and happy Juneteenth. Today commemorates the end of slavery after the Civil War for African Americans here in the United States. And my spirit team has been pestering me for weeks to do this video, and this is uncomfortable. Not exactly sure how this is going to go, but now that we are here at Juneteenth, I think it's pretty important. This is an auspicious day to do this video. Twofold. This video is to make a nod of acknowledgement of apology to the experiences that people of color and especially African Americans experience here in this country with cyclical racism, structural racism, intrinsic racism, all of the verbal, nonverbal things that happen, the emotional things that happen, physical things that happen. This is a recognition that people with my skin tone have perpetrated and continue to perpetrate untold damage and intergenerational damage on African Americans and people of color. So we're going to be talking about that just a little bit, but this is more so to educate, give an experiential education to other people of white skin tone of experiences that the African American community might have. And I know part of that might be me stepping over a line and misspeaking at this point, but let me give you the background on this. I am a psychic medium. I am a channel. I am an empath. And when I am working with people, I tend to pick up on how other people are feeling, especially through my entire body space. And I have been doing this work for 20 years now, so I am deeply experienced, very grounded in the work, very, very knowledgeable. And I have also had some time off the last couple of years, and now I am beginning to come back into practice again, do sessions, do consultations in this upheaval of an ascension that we're going through. And what I can report to all of you is that the difference between when I left off coaching and took a break for a little while, and I'm coming back now a full 2 years later, after my quiet quitting, coming back a full 2 years later, what I can tell you is the energetics are off the roof. They are intense. The channeled sessions that I have done and I am now doing with clients are at a whole other level. And the story that I'm going to share with you about what I experienced momentarily walking in the shoes of people of color just for moments, that's what I want to share with you here today. And it is on that platform of being a psychic medium, an empath, a channel, re-entering my working space at a whole other level, experiencing very intense energetics, and so very visceral experience then through my body of what I believe to be is true. That said, there are two experiences I experienced within the last couple of months, and they were literally like they happened bam, bam. One happened on like a Monday, Tuesday, and of that same week, the second experience happened like on a Thursday. So they were paired right together, and it has taken me some time to peel back the layers, really take a look at what did I actually experience there, what does this mean, what is my responsibility in sharing this with others in a responsible and articulate way, and this is what I am coming up with. So the first experience, I was out walking my dog, Peanut, on one of our routine walks. And I had a neighbor where we walk by their fence line. I have a neighbor who had several dogs on that property. One of them is a German Shepherd. And as I walked by this property, like I'd done 100 times before, a woman on the porch stood there and yelled at her dog to attack me and my dog Peanut. I'm a country girl. I grew up in the country. I have spent more time in the country than the city. I have spent thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands upon walks along irrigation canals and out on country roads. This is the norm for me, and never in my entire time of doing this have I ever had someone openly tell their dog to attack me. So that was a very traumatizing moment. And I just kept going. I continued on the walk with Peanut, and then we had to turn around and come back this same way. And when we came back this same way, one of the other neighbors was out in his golf cart, and I'm here in eastern Washington on the irrigation canals, and in hop country and orchard country, and the thing the guys do when they are working on their irrigation lines is they get in their irrigation golf carts and drive up and down. And this one particular neighbor, his name is Butch, hadn't seen him for a while, and he comes down the lane and he stops and we're talking, and I'm still in recovery from this event, and I decided to go ahead and mention it to him. And I told him, I said, "Hey Butch, this is what happened to me, and I kind of can't believe that happened." And you got to understand, Butch is one of those guys on the canal line. He's kind of like the mayor, like he knows everybody and he talks with everybody and he knows everybody's business. And when I shared that with him, and his first comment back to me was, "Well, the sheriff lives there. That's the sheriff and his wife." And when he dropped that piece of information, and remember, I'm still experiencing trauma. I'm still experiencing fight, flight, freeze in my body, and not sure what to do. And when Butch dropped that piece of information of, "Well, there's a sheriff that lives there," in that moment, I was no longer standing on a ditch line with a neighbor talking about an incident with my dog and his dog there. I was no longer there. I went into a full PTSD flashback, and I was seeing movie reel images and having full body experiences of being in a situation where white police officers, white sheriffs, were releasing German Shepherds on command to attack me and my black-skinned counterparts. I cannot describe to you the full-on terror that I experienced in those moments. And mind you, this was just a slice. I was just in it for a few moments, 4, 5, 6, maybe 10 seconds. And I had to keep my wits about me because Butch is standing right there and we're having a conversation, and I have this full-on meltdown experience, and I'm trying to act and seem normal in front of him while I'm having this very psychic PTSD experience. And so I cleaned up and finished up the conversation with him. I didn't tell him what was going on internally with me. And then I had to walk back by this property where this woman is that yelled off the porch and the German Shepherd was. And fortunately, they were all gone. And I had I had gotten to the other side of the canal to give myself some physical distance. Well, I got back to the house. I did make a video on that. I do have a link to the original video on it that I will link, and I've still got that up on LinkedIn that you can go take a look at if you want to. And so took me some time to recover from that. And the main takeaway that I had from that experience was the awakening that we're all going through in this country, and knowing that things are so much harder for people of color, and especially African Americans, to come through the challenges that have been on their doorstep for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. when George Floyd happened, and even before then, I was trying to do some of my own cultural education, but nothing prepared me for the level of terror, the level of destructuring in my own body, the level of shame, like to have another human being tell an animal to attack you, that is a whole other level of unimaginable shame and terror. And so it took me a while to unpack those experiences and those feelings, and first, what happened? Why did I have a flashback that was not in my own skin tone color? And oh my God, I wasn't in my skin tone color. I was in somebody else's, and I was having their full blown experience flow through me. Oh my God, what was that? And then to parse out the feelings, well, I felt this and I felt this and I felt this, and then to realize, oh my God, that was only like 4 or 5 seconds. Imagine walking around like that for an entire lifetime. So these are the thoughts that I have been having since that experience. Well, that wasn't the only one. Like 2 or 3 days later, so we're going to set that experience aside, and then 2 or 3 days later, I went into session with a 30-something African-American woman here in the Western United States. It was supposed to be a consultation that turned into a full-on live reading, because the moment we got on the Zoom conference, her what I call familial lineage, some people, others might call it the ancients. Basically, her lineage, her family line showed up full blown on cue. And the next thing I knew, they were pouring through me. They were pouring through me the experience that this young woman was having concerning all of the intergenerational trauma that she had experienced, and that her family had experienced, that was rolling through her body. All of that trauma, and how it was affecting her experience in her career, and also her experience with her money, and how so much of it was contributing to her own self-doubt. Now, again, I was in this experience, this full body experience. It lasted longer. I was in it for at least a minute, a couple of minutes. So it wasn't a sheer blast of like 5 seconds, but it was a slow burn. And again, I experienced that. I don't even have words for how intense, how awful, how hard, how painful, how damaging racist trauma is. And you need to know, I've gone through my own trauma. I've gone through my own trauma of coming out of the closet and being psychic in a very, very traditional world. And I've come through my own trauma of my mother not wanting me, and mental and emotional abuse going on there because of that. And then also her, her undiagnosed narcissistic personality disorders. And my own being a square peg in a round hole. Like, I have gone through my own walk of my own wounds and inequities, and being treated different, and being unacknowledged. Like, I've gone through my own version of that, but nothing compares to the intergenerational racist trauma that I experienced both in that first incident, and then also in this second experience with this young African American woman. And so I am coming to you, especially if you are white. I am coming to you on this day of June 19th, celebrating the emancipation of African Americans from slavery after Civil War, celebrating that in acknowledgement of that. I am coming to you as a white skin tone person talking to other white people to imagine, like, take the trauma you have gone through as a white person in this lifetime and then multiply it times 10. Easily multiply it times 10 over a much longer duration. And that is what our African American brothers and sisters are dealing with significantly on a daily basis. I don't know how they are functional. And from the bottom of my heart, just a huge sense of, acknowledgement of the challenges that you go through. I don't think saying I am sorry is enough, but I at least have to say I am sorry for the experiences that you are walking through on a daily basis, and also acknowledging the distance that you have come in spite of all of the hurdles that people with my skin tone have caused for you in the first place. I can hear from Spirit Team, they're like, that was the message that needed to get through. That was the message that needed to get through. So take this for what you will, and know, I'm a body-based money relationship coach. Know that no matter what situation you're in, no matter what your skin tone is, the trauma that you experience and the intergenerational trauma that you experience through your family line, it lands in the money. And acknowledging the wounding within ourselves and within one another, acknowledging the wounding, acknowledging a process of healing can do nothing but help give your internal support and give patience and love to other people who are going through similar things, giving people the benefit of the doubt if they are in challenging situations. And that's what I want to leave you with on this auspicious day of June 19th. Yeah. May we continue healing the intergenerational trauma in the United States and come to a better place so people can live healthier, happier lives.